Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It must be Sunday night. We are live here at the Casa Thunderstrikers and Scenic Palm Harbor, and now I'm the host of the show, Joe D'Angelo.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Devin Stamford. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joe D'Angelo, Tampa Bay Thunderstrikers live here, Casa Thunderstrikers, beautiful Palm Harbor, Florida. And we are in the Tampa Bay Thunderstrikers live show, and I have a new co-host to introduce. His name is Jeff.
How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you very much. Go Bolts!
Yes! We have a new co-host. We're on our way.
Yep, we are.
Yeah, this is a good night. So we're going to start the show off with some lightning news, because that's what we do. That's what we live for. We are Bolts for life, and we are starting to see some people come in the chat room. My producer tells me at 6:59, Joe, we're going on the air now. At 6:59. I'm like, whoa, dude, you gotta let me know like 5 minutes ahead of time so I can, know what's going on. So first of all, before we start the show, I just wanted to introduce Jeff and let him introduce himself about his history with the Bolts and his knowledge of the Bolts. And what would you like to say to our fans out there?
Thanks for letting me come on board and be part of your home. Joe, thank you very much for bringing me aboard. I've been a Lightning fan since the early 90s. First time they came aboard, and actually was a Pee-wee Saber back in the day when I was about that big. A lot skinnier, a lot shorter back in the day. A few weeks in Pee-wee and fell down a lot, cried a lot because I was a little child, and decided the hockey for playing was not for me, but for watching it all day long. And nobody better than the Bolts. Look at these guys. Not only are they fantastic on the ice, Joe, but they're fantastic off the ice too. These guys are hard chargers. They're a big team. They work well together. Absolutely. And they're good for the community, which is something you can't really ask more for than these guys. Spent some time in the radio, had a good time, looking forward to getting back into the game, and I'm glad to be here tonight. So thanks for bringing me aboard.
We got some changes coming for the Tampa Bay Thunderstrikers. We're going to be changing on Sunday, so stay around for that. We got some good plans for that. Also, of course, we're going to continue on at Snapper's Grill and Comedy Club with the WZIG radio booth, which is outstanding. We have another gig coming up, which is undetermined yet what day it's going to be, but we're going to be broadcasting on Clearwater and a Clearwater radio station as well. That's coming up. There's a lot of things that's coming up, and I'm excited about our future and everything. And of course, yes, Thursday night.
I'll tell you what, though, this is for you fans. You got to help us out. We can only be as good as our fan base. So tell all your friends, come on board, come out to Snappers on Tuesday night and celebrate with these guys. I'm not there, but Joe's running the show. Come out there and get some good food. Have a good time with these guys. Listen up, enjoy the podcast, share it with your friends, and let's get a bunch of people all year really pushing for the Bolts.
Exactly, and that's why we have these shows, because, like Jeff, I go back to a long time being a Bolts fan, and I've been on STM for a long time as well, going out and supporting this team and everything. I was there in the 2004 Cup Series win.
Awesome win, awesome win.
Yeah. So, we have a good staff right now, and we're going to deliver whatever kind of news. I was just making clarification with Jeff, though. How we do business here with the Thunderstrikers is we do not speculate. You see a lot of speculation out there in the media world. If you see something on NHL rumors, if you see something that's on Facebook and it is not from one of the gentlemen that I'm going to tell you right now, and I think I've repeated this before, there are several guys that have covered this team for endless amounts of time. They are professionals. They are Lightning writers. They are beat writers. They have columns. They have talk-in shows. I'm talking about Dan Herjon, Joe Smith, Eric Engelson, Brian Burns of NHL.com, who also is the beat writer for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Kaylee Chelios, who got promoted as well.
Yes, congratulations to Kaylee, by the way.
Yep. I got a friend named Andrew that works for the Lightning in the radio as well, and he's a writer, and he's a good friend of mine. He's also the producer at Q105, which is pretty impressive that he works both, as a producer of Mason Dixon's show, who, of course, everybody knows Mason Dixon is iconic here. And we do the toy drive, and we do the toy drive every year. For the last 4 years, we deliver the toys to the radio booth. I get on the air with Mason Dixon, which is just, I can't describe that feeling. It's amazing. And we love the Lightning, we love the community, and we love to give the needy families the toys and everything at the end of Christmas time. They don't have any toys.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you, Joe, one of the reasons I'm so glad to be part of the Thunderstrikers now is because of the integrity that you've always had. Like you said, you're going to hear from a lot of different sources, a lot of rumors out there. Heck, we were all crying up until just a few days ago about Braden Point. And we'll talk about him a little bit later. Yeah. And that's where it falls. You really have to listen to the facts, listen to the sources, and make your own opinions. Now, sometimes we may be wrong. We may be wrong once in a while. But we're only going to go by the information that we have, and we're going to make sure it's right. We don't speculate. If we speculate, we're going to give you bad information. If we give you bad information, you're not going to want to listen to us, and that's not going to help anybody. Mm-hmm. But just like our integrity here as Thunderstrikers, we want to make sure that we push that forward, because we're talking about a team here that not only is a fantastic team. I mean, these folks, come on, you know their records, but the integrity of the players, the integrity of the team itself, the integrity of the Tampa Bay area, just in general, is above reproach. We want to make sure we keep the same thing going for you guys.
For all my haters, I got to cover this. I'm going to get it over with now. If you're a Tampa Bay Rays fan, I do not hate you. Okay? I have a roommate that's a Tampa Bay Rays fan.
You've got a co-host who's a Tampa Bay Rays fan.
I got people, my boss at work is a Tampa Bay Rays fan. You know what? We can all get along. This is where I have an issue. And Tom Germano, if you're listening or watching, Tom is like a brother. However, he's a Rays fan, and he's a little delusional. So I usually have to correct him and give him reality. And there was some back-to-back with some Rays fans that were a little cocky because they finally won and got in the playoffs, and were bragging about how they won a 2-game meaningless series after we clinched 2 weeks ago before that.
I think they call that a sweep, Joe.
They call that a sweep, but we beat you guys 12 times.
Yes, you did.
12 times.
Yes,
Unfortunately, he's not watching.
Oh, that's a shame, Tom. But I do like the guy. I get along with the Rays fans. It's just that,
Well, at the end of the day, it's sports.
You guys, you Rays fans are, you're faithful. All 10 of you.
11 now. There's one.
11.
Beside of another guy.
Okay, all you 11 fans that go to the Trop, the empty Tropicana Field. This guy loves Tropicana Field.
Telling you, I love it.
Me, I go there, my ass hurts from sitting on those seats. I am not in an air-conditioned building. They say it's air conditioning. I leave there sweating. It's 2,000 people in attendance. But let me be honest with you.
Now we have to say that
it's okay for you Rays fans to hate the Yankees, because you hate the Yankees. You really do. You guys hate the Yankees. You hate the fact that we are the greatest franchise in the history of sports.
When you get paid so well, obviously you're going to have some good players.
There's never been a
But when you get beat by the Rays, good gracious, go Rays. Shout out to G-Man Choi. He's not listening because he's way too good for this. But G-Man Choi, if you get a chance to see this, I got you. You're my favorite. We'll go from there. And Joe only sweats at the Trop because he watches his Yankees lose, and that kind of makes anybody sweat.
But you know what? We beat them 12 times during the season. We won the season series. That is nothing new. We finished ahead of them. That is nothing new. We are the American League East champions. That is nothing new. And we're going for number 28 World Championship. So,
hey, congratulations to the Yankees. They did a fantastic job. We're 9.5 games back, or something right around around there right now.
31 injuries this season, more than any other team. 31 players on the Yankees got hurt this season, and we won 103 games for the year. That's impressive.
That's impressive, but for a team that our salary in the Rays is about the same as one of their pitchers, and that's our entire team. And I'll maybe throw in a couple outfielders, and that's our entire team. Well, I'm going to say go Rays, and we'll leave it at that. Let's talk about some lightning.
Let's talk about the Bolts, because that's what this show is all about. We just needed to clear the air.
Well, Joe, you know it's a tough weekend. It was a tough weekend for a lot of fans. A lot of diehard fans, they're concerned, and they have valid concerns, and I have concerns too. Not so much as a team, because hey, it's preseason. Things happen in the preseason. It's nothing to worry about full season. But when you start looking at injuries, that's when we have an issue. So let's talk about some injuries here.
Well, up until now, up until a few days ago, we didn't really have to worry. Now, of course, Braden Point is injured, and they were being updated on that. It's no secret. I reported that a long time ago that he had that hip surgery and he was going to be out. So that's nothing new. But we shall overcome that, because he will be back by the end of October.
Yes.
And now, most recently, we've had two other gentlemen get injured. And, there's been, again, with the Facebook, with the rumors, with speculation and everything, let me be clear on this. The only thing that has happened with the Bolts is that Martell has been waived. And if nobody claims him, he goes back to the crunch. That is the only thing that has happened. You're hearing other stuff about a broken wrist for Steady. Let's not speculate. Nobody knows if it's a broken wrist or not. All we do know is that he left, and he had his arm in a sling, and he was supposed to get looked at. Those are the facts. Okay, we're not going to speculate on what in-depth injury is until we know for sure and get confirmation from somebody with full authority to make that call. And of course, we await the announcement from the Lightning as to the what's going to happen with. I really think that Steady is going to be legitimately hurt, though.
It's unfortunate. I think it's Googie, and he's a really great player, not only just on his own, but he's a great teammate. He really does a good job, pulls everybody ahead, and let's just hope.
Yes.
Let's just keep our fingers crossed.
So not only did Martell play the last two games, but Volkov did not play the last two games too, and I think that's why he's been cut too, but no official announcement has been made. There was speculation today that Carter Bedaway has, now how do you pronounce his last name?
As far as I've heard, it's a Verhey, but then again, we can't speculate. I don't want to, Alex, if Carter, if you're listening, geez, don't hit me or anything like that. We want to get your name right. I'm sure by mid-season we'll get it right, just like we got Palat and Paquette as they came along.
Mm-hmm.
You guys don't have easy names, but I'll tell you right now.
I don't.
So we have to learn as we go, and everyone counts a little bit differently, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, so I know some fans have been asking me. That one question was from your friend there. What was her name?
Ellen.
And she wanted to know about Martell.
Yep.
He's been waived, so he's not going to be on the opening night roster. They will put him on waivers, and if he doesn't get claimed, he'll be with the crunch, as well as Louis Domingue, who was not claimed.
Oh, Louis.
Now, Louis played today in the crunch, and the crunch won in their final preseason game. He did a really good job. Now, the question is, what happens next? Well, you have Louis, you have Condon, and you have Wedgwood. Now, Wedgwood is supposed to be the #1 starter. You've seen him in the Lightning preseason game, and he was a winner.
Yes.
He did a very good job.
Very good job.
Yeah, so now you have Louis, you have Condon, and you have Wedgwood down on the crunch. Something happens to McElhinney or Massey, God forbid. We don't want any injuries, but we already got two here to report today with Tyler Johnson. We don't know the extent. They're not saying anything about Tyler Johnson.
We got Maroon, too. Maroon's out. Maroon's out currently. He's showing action. I'm looking at the Tampa Bay Lightning injuries on ESPN right now. And,
They indicate that.
yeah, Tyler and Cedric are day to day, but right now Braden and Maroon are out until further notice. So let's hope we get some better news on that.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. I know that Point's not going to start until the end of October. That's already set.
Well, let's hope that he said Thanksgiving, and let's hope since he's Canadian, that's a Canadian Thanksgiving that's in October, and not U.S. Thanksgiving, which is in November. So I'm hoping for his Canadian roots there that we have a Canadian Thanksgiving return from Brady.
Hopefully.
So this is a huge. Let me go over that hit. Okay, let me go over that hit on SETI. That was from a player named Riley Stillman. He did a dirty hit on Cedric Paquette, laid him out. Now, as I said before, let's not speculate on SETI's injury until we get confirmation. So, by the way, an update on that, Riley Stillman was cut and sent to the minors.
Yes.
So he is no longer around. And Witkowski wanted a piece of him the other night as well as Maroon.
I'll tell you, since we're talking about Witkowski real quick, boy, that boy is really doing a good job. He's a hard charger.
I think he's won his position.
He has.
I mean, I can't confirm it, but I think he deserves it. I also think that Carr should get the position as well, being that you have some injuries, and this changes the complexion of what we're talking about.
Right. And Cooper's going to have a tough job this year. He's got not only a lot of new players onto his roster, not new at hockey, but new onto his roster. He's going to have a little bit of shuffling to do on his front line and his defensive line right now.
Okay.
We see Jan Root is in there. He's full-time now. He's really handsy. Does a great job defensively. Hopefully, with these new, with Witkowski, and especially with Shattenkirk. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We got Shattenkirk.
Great.
And if you've been watching any of these preseason games, his name comes up 3 or 4 times a game because when he's out on shift, he's playing 100%, and he's really showing what he can do. We're loving Shattenkirk.
Yes. Again, we're dealing with a salary cap of $81.5 million, which is a huge concern for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Not so much this year as compared to next year, where it's going to be huge. That's an issue.
Well, it really pulls out. What are you going to do with some of your free agents? Are you going to move them up? Or are you going to move them out? And if you do move them up, what are you going to do with some of your major players like Killorn, like Tyler Johnson? A lot of these guys, of course, Pooch is going to stay, Vassey's going to stay, Hedman's going to stay, Point's going to stay, things like that. But you still got a lot of talent in that second line. Mm-hmm. You got to figure out, do you want to lose that talent to save some money and expand your team, or do you want to hold on what you got? And it's going to be a tough decision for the whole staff.
That is something that, Julian's going to have. That's huge.
Oh, yeah.
That's huge. That's decision making, and that's why Julian is in charge of that.
And they do a great job. That's one of the reasons the Lightning, yes, they've got some talented players, some of the most talented players in hockey these days. I mean, look at Cooch, look at Stamkos, even look at Brayden.
Yeah.
The way they're playing, the points they come up with, the plays they make. Some of the best players in hockey. But it takes more than that. It really takes a front office staff that can make this work right and can get the numbers right. Mm-hmm. I hate to fall back upon the Rays, but look at what the Rays have done without a lot of money. They were able to get that staff right in line and have done wonders this year. And I think that's one of the things the Bolts have going for them.
Absolutely true. And I think now you're going to see a little bit of youth mixed in with the Tampa Bay Lightning veterans, because as of right now, you're looking at a few guys that went into the camp not so sure if they were going to be able to make. A perfect example is Jamal Smith, who's 25 years old. He brings 80 games of NHL experience, having played for the Stars and the Bruins the past 3 years. He's aggressive puck hound. He can play wing and center. He's a great candidate for the remade penalty kill. He's a key player. I really was hoping that Mitchell Stephens was going to get a spot. I was kind of surprised that he got cut, but he's a future Bolt. for sure. Alex Wilcox, we haven't seen him the last 2 games. I think he's a cut. I can't confirm that, though, so we're not going to speculate on that. Let's look into it more. Martell got waived today, so he's not going to be part of that. And Boulette got cut as well. But Carter is feeling confident that he's won his spot. And I really think that, he's loved by Cooper. Cooper loves the progress on this guy.
They've been doing a good job. You got a few young players. I mean, Sergachev's 21 years old. Wilcox 22. Even Matthew Joseph, he's 22 years old. But then again, you've got Killorn, who's 30. You've got Pat Maroon, who's 31. You've got Victor Hedman, who's 29. You got Braden Cullen, who's 34 years old and still playing hockey.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of maturity on this team, and the mix of maturity and the new kids coming in and learning how to do it the right way the first time is a great recipe for success.
Absolutely. And, there's a couple of guys that are going to be coming off the books next year. So just keep in mind that, some guys come off the books because now you're going to have to deal with 2020 after the season's over. You stand to lose a Cernak, a Sergachev, a Sorelli, and a Joseph. But before you worry about losing that, just remember, the Lightning have so much money laid up on 13 players and 14 players now with point signing. You're not going to have that much money, and you're going to hope that the $81.5 million jumps up. Because it's really a hard figure. It's hard for him to imagine how much money they're going to have left after they pay these guys. So
the cap's a real issue this year, coming up ahead. But let's see what happens. I mean, let's see how far we go this year, and we might actually see a bigger cap next year.
And that's the hope for us, is that it goes from 81 million to maybe 83 or 84 million dollars. Points contract is. He did the bridge deal.
Yeah.
They finally got to an agreement after the Lightning were a few million off on that particular Friday. They were a couple of $1 million off. And they came back with an offer and finally got them signed. So that was huge. And what Julian says is, hey, I got 25% of this roster upgraded by some of the moves that he did. And he did a hell of a job.
Yeah, he did. And we've kept a lot of the core team in place.
Mm-hmm.
And they're good. They work together well. They're strong. Other than a few injuries, of course, we can talk about Point all day long.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, our injuries aren't really devastating at this point to where we can't go out there, work hard with the team in place, and move forward.
Absolutely agree. I got some shout-outs to make real quick, which I normally do in the beginning of the show, but we got caught up in everything that's going on with that. Chris Viola, shout-out to you. Our Place, one of the best restaurants around. Greg Smeater, who's helped us with the toy drive boxes and wraps. Gino's Pizza with my buddy Ruben, and Nico Lemela. So shout-out to you guys. Also got to make an announcement for the Tampa Bay Lightning. The 19th annual Bolts Run is Sunday, October 27th, 7:30 a.m. is the first race. Log on to tampabaylightning.com/boatrun for more information about that. So I got the announcements out. A couple of guys that we made tributes to over the past few weeks. And, they meant a lot to this organization, and I felt like, just announcing them again because, of who they are and what their contributions were. Dan Girardi was only with us for 2 years, but he did so well. How many times I was sitting in 102 or 318, my sections, and watching this guy just sacrifice his body to block pucks.
Yeah, he would. He really put his heart and soul into this team. It was sad to see him go. Really good job all the way around. Heck of a skater, and he could really play a physical game that you're not seeing as much in hockey these days. One thing that a lot of people talk about the Lightning is they're more of a gentle team. They don't get as many penalties as many other teams. They're not as physical. But when it comes right down to it, we've got some players that can hit. And we're not afraid to hit. We're getting better at our hits. And we're having to go up against some of these lack of better term, dirty teams that want to come out there and fight, want to play hard. And we're playing right back with it. That's a good thing.
Yeah, but losing that Pat Maroon, that's
Yeah.
he was one of the key additions to this team as far as the toughness that they have now. With Kowski, with Cernak, you have
let's throw Shattenkirk in there.
Shattenkirk,
He's a hard hitter.
and you got to throw Shed in there too.
You got to throw Shed in there.
So there you go. They have the toughness right now.
And hey, remember last year, it took a lot to get old Braden fired up, but when he did, he went to town.
Yeah.
And
true.
Braden, he's not afraid to throw some gloves
Yep.
and get dirty on the ice, which is what we need. We need to have a balance of that. As good of a hockey players as we are, if we're not physical this year, if we're not afraid to throw down, it's going to be a tough year for us.
Yeah, and that's why JBB did what he did, and he helped the defense and get these players. And again, the salary cap situation is not going to hit them as hard this year. Next year is going to be a nightmare. And JBB says, my hands are tied. Here are some of the things I've studied this, and some of the things that we can do to keep some money is go ahead and trade one of these expensive $5 million per year guys. And Alex Killorn is going to be having his no trade clause. It's going to become a limited no trade clause. That enables the Lightning to go ahead and try to deal him and get rid of that contract. Because, again, like I said, Sergachev, Cernak, Sorelli, and Joseph are all RFAs, and they're going to be wanting raises and deals. So you just, right now, you can't do it. You can't sign them right now with everything that we got committed.
No, we have too much committed. We have too much money out there, and that's one good thing about the Bulls, but it's always scary because you have teams that are willing to just throw money out there and throw. And the Bulls are careful.
Mm-hmm.
They pay their players well, but they don't overpay them, in my opinion, only. And they don't throw money out there just to throw money out. So they're very careful with what they do. It's going to be a guessing game on how they're going to react next year. It's going to be tough because there's not as much play as they've had the last couple of years to get these players in. Fortunately, we got a lot of players in the rosters that we can keep, and there's a lot of talent out there too.
Absolutely. And of course, it was a good camp. Luke Wiskowski definitely, in my opinion, and I'm sure you agree, has won a spot.
Very, very good job.
He's won a spot.
He's a hard charger. He's a really good player. He's good on his skates. He's very athletic overall, and he's not afraid to get in front of that puck when he needs to. That's a great thing for a defensive man like that.
And that's huge. Dan Girardi, getting back to him, past 2 seasons as a Bolt, 11 years as a Ranger, 927 games total, 56 goals, 264 points, 143 playoff games, 30th all-time defense on the defenseman list. He was with the Rangers for 11 years. Dedication, I mean, the man deserves it. Oh, he's just that kind of player. And then we're going to touch up on Rick Peckham, who turns...
Before you get in that, we have reached the halfway point.
Okay.
Eric, we appreciate everybody watching. We are live for the Thunderstriker show here at Thunderstriker Casa in Scenic Palm Harbor. And now back to Joe.
Wow, that was short.
Yeah, it was short.
Great job. Great job.
I'm going to go get the cats.
Go get the cats and go get me a water too, please.
Okay.
Okay, so after this year, we say goodbye to an iconic broadcaster. And here is Cooch.
Look at that. Hey, Cooch.
He's like, really?
Cooch is 2 years old. He's a baby. He's a Siamese cat. And, while we're still here at the Thunderstriker Casa, you'll be seeing the cats on and off on broadcast till we move our location. And this is the Queen Elsa, who also loves the camera. She usually goes up to it. She usually talks, but it doesn't look like she's in a talkative mood right now. Perhaps it was one of those nights where she just kept her owner up most of the night. Thank you. Cooch, thank you very much for joining us.
He's trying to be your new co-host.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Our guest Time today is Cooch.
The position has been filled.
Sorry, Cooch.
But that's okay. That's okay. Enjoy it now while we still have the cats in the studio. Because that's going to change soon. We are making moves and we are growing and we're going to be better and bigger and everything like that. Back to the iconic Rick Peckham. Now, we love broadcasting.
Yes.
We love to do this. This man here is retiring. And in 2019, it will be his 24th season as a TV play-by-play announcer for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and total 42 years.
Jeez. Long time.
The man was born to broadcast. I feel like we were too.
Oh, of course.
I feel like we were too.
Of course.
But we got to look up to somebody like that.
Oh, somebody like that. That's iconic. That goes beyond us in broadcasting. Just a great job. Great fan too.
Mm-hmm.
He did so well at broadcasting and does so well. Rephrase that because he truly loves these Bolts. He loves the Tampa Bay area. He loves what we have to offer, and he's great. Just great at what he does.
Yeah. So we want to wish him well.
Very much.
We're going to enjoy right now his final season with the Bolts, and I'm sure they're going to have some nice tributes for him.
Yes.
And all respect here from us here in the booth. Okay, so now we're going to talk about no trade clauses because this is an issue that is going to actually help the Lightning with the salary cap for next year and get into a position where we can get the kids in and fill in the positions when these veterans are out.
Right.
Tyler Johnson being one of them, we agree. We don't want to see Tyler go.
See him go.
On June 15th, 2021, his full no-trade clause turns into a modified clause with a 20-team list that he can't be traded to. So he can't trade him to this particular team that's on his list. But, you know, they may have to shop him around.
Yes.
I think the most likely candidate that's going to go is Alex Killorn because his contract in 2020, he submits a list of 16 teams that he can be traded to, and the Lightning can work out a deal for him, and we can take that salary and, you know, get some relief from that.
True.
Also remember, a key point here is that we're going to be missing one player off the roster, which means that some money's going to come off the books when Seattle picks a player from our roster.
True. They're going to have a pick. It's going to be limited in what they can do. It's going to hurt us either way anyway.
Yeah.
And to all the fans, and we're as much fans as we are Thunderstrikers. Love this team. Love these guys. Know them by name. Kind of wish I knew them personally because they all seem to be just really great people in general. It's going to be sad to see anybody go, but just like anything else, things have to happen for the betterment of the team, and that's what kind of happens along the way.
Now, another possibility is Andre Palat, who in 21-22 can submit a 20-team list that he can't be traded to. So there's 20 teams on that list that he cannot be traded to, but everybody else he can be traded to. This is the thing. These no-trade clauses get to effect that really affects and in a way will benefit the Lightning if they need to trade salary.
Because, I mean, we're looking at right now, we've got Shattenkirk's under no trade clause.
Yep.
Palat, McDonald, Gord, Killorn, and Johnson. So for now, they're solid, but that's going to change.
July 1st, 2022, Yanni Gord can submit a 22-team trade list that he cannot be traded to.
Yep.
So that's a huge factor. So there you go with that. I'm telling you, this has been it's been a very good offseason for the Lightning as far as JBB and his moves. Because I love these moves. The Lightning, I feel now that they have some veteran and Stanley Cup leadership.
Yes.
Huge importance.
Yes.
When you get those type of players and you bring them in and they possess the leadership, that's huge.
Exactly. But let's talk about Stanley Cup just for a second and get it off the table and get that bad taste out of our mouths. Yes, we had little hiccups last year. It didn't look good for us, and One of the problems that the Lightning is facing now is how to get back off that problem.
Yes.
One of the best things we're going to have to do as fans and as a team is really understand that we're fresh. It's brand new. It's a new start, a whole new season. The things we have going for us, we have the talent, we have the skill, we have the fan base, we have the office staff. We are really in a position to do very, very well. If we don't get the President's Cup this year, if we don't win so many games that people just think we're going to take this Stanley Cup and walk away, that's not a bad thing. We need to be a solid, straightforward team, play our best strength, and go as far as we can. And most likely, and this is speculation, folks, I think we're going to get the Cup this year.
Yes.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
This team, the way it's constructed, is being that he was able to get that final chip in place, and that being Braden Point, this team is built for the Stanley Cup. Whether or not we get it, that remains to be seen. But we can't get overconfident.
Yep.
We just can't, because, look at us. We had the best team last year. We didn't get the Cup.
We did.
Things happen. Unfortunately, things happen. Disappointing all the way around, but at the same time, we can't be too disappointed because look at what our team did last year.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of wins. Look at the records we've set. Not only team records, but individual records. Look at Cooch. Good gracious. You can't beat a guy like that for his ice time and his skills.
Yeah, the best player in the NHL last year.
Easily.
Easily the best.
And you got another guy coming up. I mean, we've beaten this Brady Point to death, but Brady Point is a young guy. He's got a lot of skills. He's already broken his own records daily.
Mm-hmm.
And if he gets healthy and gets moving on in, there's nothing that guy can't do.
Well, let me tell you this. There was a lot of talk and conversation between Point, his agent, and the Lightning. And one thing the history of the Lightning has shown is that, hey, Braden, we'll give you one of these bridge deals, just like we did Kucherov, just like we did several other players. And I've gone over this in the past on my broadcasts. That's what they do. They give you the bridge deal. They say, okay, this is going to lead you to a bigger salary, and it's going to reward you. Braden Point hasn't been rewarded yet, believe it or not. You would think that he is. He hasn't been.
He will.
He hasn't been. It's coming.
Yep.
In the future, Braden Point will sign one of those 8-year, God knows how much, 10 million, 9 million. It's going to happen.
Yeah. My prediction, and I'm even wearing the Point jersey, is he's going to be one of the best players in the NHL of all time. He's going to be right out there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I'm going to give it to my producer right now because we've ignored the chat. We've gotten so much news and everything. We want to address the chat room, and now my producer, Mr. Devin Stoffer, will let us know who's in the chat and our regulars.
We had Paul Coleman, Ron Pisco,
Rapid Ron,
Zachariah Miller,
another regular.
Dylan Wood.
Oh, Dylan Wood.
Yeah, he showed up. Greg Smeeter.
Greg, what's going on, Greg? Greg, I'm still full from the pasta.
Me too. Valerie Lynch.
Hi, Valerie.
Maureen.
Maureen, hello. The Ranger fan, but I forgive you.
Joey Hills.
Oh, another Sticks of Fire member.
Chris Barra.
Mm-hmm.
Susan K. Hearing.
Another one of our regulars.
John. Mary
McAbee.
Mary Egan. And Matt Breyer.
Matt Brown.
Yeah.
Another Ranger fan.
And I'm sure we had a couple more coming in.
Of course.
Outstanding. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for being part of this.
We don't discriminate. Hey,
We're glad to have all hockey fans.
You want to hey, if you want to root for the Rangers, that's your gig. I grew up in New York. I was an Islander fan. I was an Islander STM for years. And I love the wars between the Islanders and Rangers. We can go back and talk the 80s when the Islanders won those 4 cups in a row.
What is watching?
4 cups in a row. Yes.
Wood.
As I like to call him.
Let's even talk about the. Hey, I was a Sabres fan, and still am. I'm telling you. when it comes right down to it, we all know this. We're all hockey fans through and through. If the Lightning don't make it, which is not going to happen, and it's the same thing, we just root for the best team on the planet. We root for who's going to do the best. We root for who's going to do the greatest thing on the ice. We keep doing it that way.
And we stick
Except for last year's.
Right.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Pretty embarrassing.
We're over it.
Now let's talk about what's going to be great for the Lightning this year. A couple of different changes in penalties and categories, things that are going to happen.
Now, I know they re-signed Braden Point. Is Vasilevsky coming back?
I have a good feeling he's going to be back. In fact, we're going to see
He
him a lot.
signed a huge contract.
They also
Yes.
got rid of the goalie again. It was
To me,
Yes, we talked about
Louis Domingue.
He's in the crunch. He's on their farm team.
And I'll tell you, that actually brings up a great point. We talked about this before the show. Think about this, folks. The Lightning are pretty slick in what they do. They had to release the name, which is unfortunate. And where did he land? Right with the Syracuse Crunch.
Well, the process ended in our hands because we placed Louis Domingue on waivers. He
Exactly.
was not claimed. And guess what? With him not being claimed, we were able to send him back down to Syracuse.
And I'll tell you what, that's kind of a fantastic move for the Lightning. We still have him available. He is a great goalie. Not only is he a great goalie, he's great on the ice, but he's a great team player. He's a great motivator. So we're hoping. Now we don't want anything to happen to any of our goalies now, but we're hoping if something was to happen that we can get Domingue back and we can get him back on ice, get him back to the team where he belongs in the first place.
Oh,
Did a
absolutely.
really good job. So
Absolutely.
let's talk about some of these the new things that have come out. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, keep those sticks down. Well, double minor for high sticking. Any kind of high sticking is going to end you up with a double minor, and that's a bad day if that stick comes up. They are discretionary, and they're not mandatory, but the review of all high sticking players will occur. So they're gonna be watching these. They're gonna be watching those sticks come off the ice, and it's for the players' safety of all. Anyways, we don't want to see sticks in the face. We had that happen this weekend. We've had a couple sticks in the face already. It's a bad day for everybody involved. Helmets. If you've watched the movie, we were talking about this movie earlier today. Slap shot, and my wife walked in and she said, "Where's their helmets?" I said, "That's the '70s. They didn't wear helmets back then, but now they do." And not only are they mandatory, they've been mandatory for a while now. But if they come off, you're going to have to see these players. They have to immediately exit. They've got to immediately get that helmet properly on their head, which means strap on, good to go. And if they don't, they're going to get a penalty for it. And so it's going to be really important that these players keep a good eye on their equipment.
Absolutely.
And keep things straight for their own safety anyways. One of the biggest things for the Lightning we're going to see is the face-off. Once an icing or a beginner power play happens, we know it goes down to the dot. Before, it was the dot where the goaltender had last touched the puck. That's what the side was determined. Now, it's going to be up to the discretion of the charging team. So the offensive team is going to have that choice. Think about that, folks. If you've got guys that are really good right stickers, which we have a lot of them, that's the place you're going to put that puck. That's going to be a big advantage for the Lightning right down their lane.
Absolutely. A little bit of sad news. Unfortunately, we lost a Lightning family member. This has become all too common lately. Already with Sticks of Fire, and also was a member of my Thunderstrikers as well. Unfortunately, we, even though we have different groups, different Lightning groups, there's a lot of Lightning groups out there. Every group may just say they're the best group or brag about how good they are and stuff like that. It's competition in a way because, you know, we have our show, Sticks of Fire has a huge group and a huge following. There's a lot of groups out there. But when it all comes down to is we're all Lightning fans. At the end of the day, we root for the same damn team. The Lightning are our team. The Lightning is our community team. all day long, 24/7. I got a car outside that's, I call it the Bolts ride because it doesn't come any that better than that. It's lightning blue. It's got the flags. It's got the emblems. It's got everything. I love the car, and it reps the team. It advertises the team. The studio here. This is my dining room. This is not really a studio. We're going to be going into a studio very shortly. So that's a good thing. But let me get back to my point. My point is John Swan was a huge Lightning fan. We lost him this year, unfortunately. I hung out with John Swan. He was a big part of Six of Fire. I've been part of Six of Fire since 2015. That loss was bad. And now, unfortunately, today we came up with the news that we lost Beth Hunt, who a huge Lightning fan.
Yeah, sad to see her go.
Very, very sad to see her go. I just wanted to make sure that we mentioned that because, again, you know, we're all Lightning fans, family. We go there to the arena. We spend our money. Each and every year, the Lightning sell out. Every single year, you've seen it. The last few years have been sold outs each and every game. We are over 202 sellouts at Amalie Arena.
Yep, amazing, especially for Florida.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, "Oh, Florida, that's not a hockey state." Lightning is a hockey state.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is they don't have the same success in Sunrise. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
The Panthers don't have the same success as the Lightning do. But we already went through that time where, and you know it,
All the growing pains.
there was times where the Lightning were so bad that they were giving away their tickets.
Yeah.
We remember that.
Oh yes.
We go back to that. We know about that. Okay, that's how bad they were. And you know, us being Lightning fans since the '90s, we've been through the heartaches and everything. But when the Lightning was sold, and right now we have one of the greatest owners in the history of hockey.
Oh yeah. Oh, very much. Cooper. All the way around. Great owners, great coaching staff.
Yeah.
It's almost like the perfect storm for us. I mean, we went from 1997 winning 17 games to 2019 winning 62 games.
Yeah.
I mean, and the one thing we've gotten, other than a few little hiccups like 2012 or 18 game, we won't even talk about that year. We've gotten progressively better as we go.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see. We were in the teens in the late 90s. We were in the 30s and 40s in the 2000s. Now we're in the 40s, 50s, and we've broken that 60 mark. And who knows what's going to happen from then on.
Yeah.
That's the great part about the Lightning.
Yep. Folks, it is very, very hard to imagine what it's like to be a general manager. For JBB right now, faced with a $74 million to 14 players. I kid you not, if you do not believe me, go look it up. Because I'm all about stats and facts, figures, that's all what I got. Need I say more? I have over 500 sheets. That's his first shot.
You should have flipped it over so they could see how many folders.
Oh, there's a lot of folders.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information there. There's a lot of stats. There's a lot of facts. There's a lot of figures. $74 million for 14 players. How the hell are you supposed to make this work where you can sign these other guys for next year? Let's get this year's cup won.
Yeah.
Let's win the cup this year and then worry about that damn problem next year because it's going to be a huge, huge problem.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for this draft and somebody taking a player from us, that's a good thing because it takes money off. And we get rid of one of these players, as I described, maybe Alex Killorn, and then we lose somebody else. You know, it's money coming off, and you have to balance. I wouldn't want JBB's job. That is incredibly tense, stressful. But he so far has made some great decisions.
They perform well. They've spent the money well. We have just a roster of phenomenal players that are well worth the dollars they've made. There's no crystal ball to see what happens coming up, but with the team we've got now, with the fan base, with the ice we've got out there, we're going to do well. We're going to continue to do well for several years. Absolutely. And that scares a lot of other teams. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of other teams that wish they had this kind of problem right now.
They're not going to want to play us. And it's absolutely incredible that next year we could be facing a Chicago Blackhawk problem.
Yes.
Remember when the Blackhawks had to sign all their veteran players?
Yep.
And it's a cap issue. When you have all these superstars and you're trying to keep them and bring up some kids to mix.
But that's where the Lightning really do well. We've seen this several years in a row. They take their newer, younger players that aren't making that kind of money, and they groom them well. They don't just focus on their top 3 or 4 players. Everybody gets ice time. Everybody gets good grooming. Everybody works together. And if we lose a big player, even to injury, we've still got people that are willing to come up there, can step in, do a great job, and already working well with the players on the ice. Go down to Brandon, take a look at these guys practice. They don't practice with focus on their major players. They practice with focus on all their players, and they really do a good job of that. And I've got to give props to Cooper and his coaching staff for that, because they've taken it a whole new step, which is something you don't see in a lot of teams.
Have you seen those? Not every Lightning fan is a good fan. We know,
Unfortunately.
There's some really unrealistic Lightning fans out there. How many people were saying John Cooper needs to go last year? Damn it, I got so pissed off at that. How could you get rid of a guy that has such a successful record with this team? These last few years, the Lightning have made the playoffs. They've made it what? 4 out of 5 years?
4 or 5 years, yeah.
And well, Cooper's done a great job.
You've got to look at frustration. Unfortunately, fans, a lot of the fans out here, and I'm going to give props for our Thunderstrikers, because people that watch these things, look at the stats, listen to the podcasts, don't just go to the game and then walk off and go to their regular life and then wait till the next game comes up.
Right.
The informed fans, they know. The misinformed fans, the ones that just listen to the rumors, read a blurb in the paper, all they want to do is hate. And that's the nature of the fan. I've fallen for it several times in my life in several different sports. It's just what it is. Unfortunately, we just have to drive through those people. Hopefully, we can give them the education that they need, show them that no matter what, win or lose, just like this whole preseason, we've lost the majority of our preseason games.
That's okay.
And to the uninformed person, we look terrible. But if you look at it from the coaching side of it, from the team development side of it, from the player development side of it, they did a really good job this whole preseason.
Absolutely.
And without point.
They did it without point.
We averaged a 5-minute point.
It's okay.
So
I always like to say that those games were pointless.
You know,
that's my little thing right there.
If we go over 5 minutes, who cares? This show is not time.
Yeah.
We like to do 7 to 8, but that doesn't mean we're going to go off at 8. What if we want to talk more about the Bolts? What if the fans out there want to hear more about our Bolts?
And folks, we want to hear these things. On Sunday nights, I'll be here every Sunday, or unless something happens.
Send those questions.
Send your questions in. Give us a call. Give us a shout. Hit us up on Facebook.
Which is one
Text
thing that
us
we gotta
somehow. We're going to get the phones
do.
going.
We got to get a phone line.
We'll have all that taken care of as we build. But we need to hear from you, because we can only give you the information that we have. We want to hear what you want to hear. What do you want to know about these bolts? And if you have a question that you set up on Facebook that we can answer right away, yeah, we're going to jump on it. But if we can't, we're going to go do our homework. And next Sunday, we're going to have an answer for you, and a real good one, too, because we're going to learn at the same time. Love questions, love interaction from our fans, because then we can give you what you want. not just us talking all day long.
Exactly, although I don't mind. We got big mouths. We don't care.
I'm not afraid to talk a little bit.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, I'm a big mouth. I admit it. I talk a lot. I talk a great deal. Maybe I won't have to talk as much now because I have a co-host finally.
There you go.
And my producer stays at what he does best. And we got a really good crew. We got also a new member coming on, Byron. He's nervous as hell. He's actually going to school for broadcasting, so that's a huge plus in my book when I was interviewing him. So it's a beautiful thing. So we're going to welcome him in on Tuesday. And I'm sure if he could have made it, he would have definitely come in.
Byron, don't be nervous. It's a lot of fun. We're going to talk about the Bolts. You cannot be nervous when you're talking about the Bolts because they're such a good team. After we were talking about the Red Wings, I'd be nervous myself right now. I'd be sitting here going, I don't know what to say because they're terrible. I don't want to say anybody's a terrible team, but I will say this. The Bolts are just awesome. It's so easy to talk about.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And, okay, so this week's coming up. Tuesday night, we're at the studio, WZIG 104.1 radio booth. It's Snapper's Grill. Get those wings ready, because I'm going to eat. Then, on Thursday is our home opener. So let's go Bolts. Let's eliminate those kitty cats right back to Sunrise, Florida, where they belong, in their empty stadium. Although I think maybe they'll get some more fans this year because they have a great goaltender. Well,
I'll tell you, Bobowski is just a fantastic goaltender. Scares me a little bit. Honestly, is scaring me because he has some Vasilevsky skills.
He does.
And he did a good job in that net.
Yeah, he just totally denied us. That was a great game, though, and unfortunately we lost in the shootout.
Yep.
So, continuing on, so after we win on Thursday night, let's do it.
Let's do it.
The Syracuse Crunch in their opener at Rochester is Friday.
Yep.
So let's go Crunch.
Go Crunch.
They got our guys on there, so we wish them well as well. Okay, so I've covered the news. We've covered the news. So I'm going to give it to my producer now. I ripped this off from Jerry Springer. It's Devin's final thoughts.
Well, we appreciate everybody watching. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, go ahead and go subscribe to that.
Huge, very important.
We have that new Twitter also. You can go subscribe to it. And thank y'all for watching. Hope you have a good evening. Hope you have a good rest of your week. See you Tuesday at 7 p.m. from Snapper's Grill.
WZIG radio booth.
Go Bolts!
Okay, now we got your final thought.
My final thoughts are thank you very much for allowing me to come back in and get some air time and talk about my favorite team of all time, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Invite everyone to keep watching. Come down to Snappers.
Oh, yeah.
Get some good food. Watch some good sports. Have a good time and support the best team in National League Hockey, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Thank you very much.
All right, and my final thought is thank you very much for watching the show. Every time I look in that chat room and I see all those people coming in and everything, it makes me feel really good that you guys watch the show each and every week, and it's just fun just coming on the air and doing this each and every week, twice a week, soon to be 3 times a week. We'll see what happens with the studio, and I'm sure I'm going to be able to bring in my crew into the new studio that whatever we're getting ourselves into, which I don't know yet. I can also tell you that I've been told that the Tampa Bay Thunderstrikers are going to be interviewed for the toy drive that we had the last 4 years. Tampa Bay Times are interested in doing a segment, and I'm excited about that because that's recognition for us for what we do for the community, for the kids, for the needy families out there. The Tampa Bay Thunderstrikers always have been concerned about helping others and doing the right thing. And just like my company, Clorox, their philosophy is the same way, do the right thing. I'm in charge of the gift program representing the Tampa Bay area for Clorox Company, which their headquarters in California. They love what I do for the community, not only in the gift program for Clorox, but also the toy drive. They support it for the toy drive for the Thunderstrikers as well. When you have the backing of a company that has so many thousands of employees located all over the world, that's huge. And that Thunderstriker name is in California. That Thunderstriker's name is worldwide because Clorox supports us and our mission, just like their mission is the gift program to help others support. Same as for the Thunderstrikers. So this is my favorite time of the year.
Let's not forget about what we do, folks.
Yeah.
Not only are we big Vault supporters, but we're supporters of Tampa Bay in general. We love our community. We take care of our community. And those in need more than us, let's give back a little bit, shall we?
Yeah, and that's how it goes. So over the next few weeks, we're going to have some announcements. We're going to be getting the toy drive boxes. I already have the boxes. We just need to put the wraps on the boxes. They will get delivered to all these locations all over. We intend to grow that even more. We want to get into Hillsborough County. We want to get into Pasco County. We want to get into all over, in Pinellas, Pasco, wherever we can get into, we want to get toy drive boxes all over. And that's our mission right now, is to just grow this toy drive as well. And before I go, me and my producer were talking about giveaways again. And Devin, you had mentioned that we
won.
Yes. Well, I got so many of them here. This is just a few of the many that I have. So if you guys want these, let me know, because I can send them to you. We're also having a contest, just like last year. Devin, explain it.
I give a hockey term. It could be any word that deals with hockey, and Joe will have to use it in a sentence.
Or Jeff.
Yeah.
Or Byron.
Nice.
So any of the hosts can use it, and you gotta correctly say the word into the chat room, and of course I will announce it when somebody gets it.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's on a code system, so you get 5 points for every time that you call out the code word. The code word could be penalty box. I'm just saying an example.
Yeah.
If the word is penalty box, be the first one to respond. I know the code word. Type it in that damn chat room, and boom, we'll recognize it, and then we'll get on a messenger or something, get a hold of you, and then we will send you. I tell you what, I love these. I got lightning pens. These lightning pens are pretty cool. Just be careful with them, because they do snap in half if you're not careful.
Yeah.
They will snap in half. And of course, we got the magnets that can go on your refrigerator or anything. Car, which I have plenty of them on my car.
Oh, yeah.
And I got plenty of them on my refrigerator too. So they come in handy. If you guys are out of state, even better, because I got you hooked up. I've had several people. Dylan Wood was an example. He was living in North Carolina and he wanted lightning stuff. I sent him the car flag and the same things. I hooked him up with some lightning merchandise that he can't get out there. If you're a lightning fan and you live out of state, that is not a problem for us. We will send you stuff. You just need to just be involved with our little contest there. It's the code word of the day of the show. Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the WZIG radio booth located in scenic Palm Harbor, Florida. We will have this contest. That's when it starts. When you hear the code word, I'm just saying, power play. If any of us mention power play, boom, type it in the chat room. If you're the first person to type it in, you win until we get our phones. Then it'll change. We don't need to type it in there. We just say it, and you just get on the phone and just be the first caller to get in.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We need to set up the phone lines, though. That's something that we need to do. So I think that's the show. So we had a great show tonight, and we went 5 minutes over. Oh boy!
Whoop-de-doo.
Oh, we sinned.
Can't worry about talking about it. We're talking about the light.
So join us Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, WZIG radio booth in scenic Palm Harbor, Florida. For Jeff, my co-host, for Devin, my producer, I am Joe D'Angelo, Tampa Bay Thunderstrikers live host. We'll see you Tuesday night. Go Bolts!
Go Bolts!
Let's get this. Let's slay the kitty cats.
All day long.
Thursday night. Oh, we open it. Ooh, yeah. Can you feel it? Can you feel that rush?
Be the Thunder.
Be the Thunder. Good night, everybody.